A little bit about 3D charts. Number one, don't hide information. 3D charts are really cute and really annoying at the same time. You can see here that there's data hidden behind the 3D blocks. In order to avoid that, you have to sometimes rotate the 3D landscape to the point where you're losing the context of the height of the bars. Yeah, they're overall a really bad idea. 3D pie charts. So angle is not the only way that a pie chart represents data. We also read pie charts by looking at the area and, like I said before, the arc. So when you make a pie chart 3D, it distorts all of those things. So you're like tripling down on the mistake. So don't get me wrong, 3D visualizations do have their place. They're good for data that has a three-dimensional spatial component. But for data that doesn't have like a spatial characteristic, adding a third dimension to the visualization often harms communication, gets in the way, obfuscates, and sometimes just flat out lies. Pie charts are the worst offenders. The main encoding of data in a pie chart is the angle of the slice. In a 2D pie chart, the angles are accurately represented. You can see this on the left. The exact same data angle and data arrow labels is being transposed onto the 3D pie chart. You can see how different they are. Our brains aren't good at accurately building a mental 3D representation of the chart to be able to rotate back to an oblique view. So yeah, I would say 3D effects grab attention but misrepresent data. In the bar chart down below, you can see it's the number of pixels really that we're seeing. So if we counted the number of pixels that are pink, blue, or gray, you can see that the gray is being overrepresented. It's misleading. Yeah, okay, here too. So all three of these pie charts are saying that the blue slice is 25% of the area, but only D in the lower right actually has 25% of the circle's pixels are blue. I'm just saying the same thing twice. Okay, don't make reading your charts impossible. It's not worth it to make a little flashy 3D chart. First of all, the perspective makes third class look bigger than it is. This is Titanic data again. Female passengers relative to male in first, second, and third class. One of the problems here, like first of all, if I asked you, what do you think the total number of first class passenger was, or third class passengers? What would you say? 680, maybe third class passengers? There are actually 711. And it's because the bars aren't sitting up against the zero line. There's a gap between the bottom of the column and where this angled line comes around. So you're getting the wrong read, and it's kind of distorting the number and the size of the third class passenger data set. Okay, sometimes you do have a really cool idea. Like here, we're looking at efficiency, or miles per gallon, on the Y. On the X, I guess let's call that the Z. On the Y, we've got displacement and we've got horsepower. So we've got three variables, and this is a very cool way of showing it. As you move to the back of this box, or this corner, horsepower is increasing. As you move to the right across the bottom, the size of the engine is increasing. And as you go up, the efficiency increases. So if it's low, it's got low efficiency, or bad miles per gallon. And you can see that that makes pretty good sense. These work really well if you can rotate. But it's really hard to get a sense for where these points are in space unless you can move it around and get different different perspectives on it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the color is encoding how many cylinders. So it is really clever, but I'd have a hard time arguing you wouldn't be able to read that information clearer than just two side-by-side plots where you've got efficiency on the Y and displacement and horsepower on the X. You can still encode your number of cylinders, so you've got that information. But unless it's an interactive kind of animation, I think that two-dimensional is always going to tell the story better. How about this? How about displacement and horsepower on your axes, and then take the cylinders, use the color, but put your efficiency in there as the size of the bubble. Yeah, now we're talking. I think this is, without question, the best way to show this data, rather than putting it in a 3D cube. Like I said, geographic space, landscapes is an exception to the rule. This makes sense. It's a 3D object. It's supposed to be. Still better if it can be animated or rotated. Okay, let's go back to Napoleon's march to Moscow. Remember this plot? It was remade in this really clever 3D version. So on the bottom, we've got the terrain, we've got the map, and you can see kind of geographically the space they covered. You could even have a scale bar down here. We've got where they began, Moscow, and then the retreat. So we have time. As we increase, as we go up, we're increasing time. The thickness of the line still represents the size of the army or the loss in troops. This is pretty genius stuff. So sometimes 3D can be pretty cool, but use it carefully.